Absolutely. So I have another random question for you.
Yeah.
So you have a very unique perspective given your background, your life history. You're from the South, right? You're black. You identify more on the conservative side, mediator, physicist, gunsmith. You're the unicorn. The joke, right? You're the unicorn.
Yeah, a
Um,
little bit, a little bit.
and so I think one of the things that I've been reflecting on a lot is how in a lot of circles, particularly on the left side and more on the liberal side, there's a lot of emphasis and more recently on inclusion, multiculturalism, having diverse identities represented at the table, right? There's a lot of emphasis on just diversity, and we need to be open to people of different cultures, different backgrounds, different races, different ethnicities, and so forth, except for ideological differences, right? We need to be inclusive to everyone who's different from us culturally and racially and sexuality and gender, but not for those conservatives or Republicans or Trump supporters or
Yeah.
ideologically affiliated groups, right? And I'm just wondering why the double standard. Why do people have such a hard time being inclusive towards different ideological groups, but they're all about inclusivity for like other categories of groups? Do you know what I mean?
Yep. And the only thing that I could think of is that when you meet someone who's black or Mexican or gay or disabled, they're different, but you don't perceive them as wrong. And when you come against someone, if you're liberal and you come up to meet someone who's a Trump supporter, they're wrong. They support a bad guy that I don't like and that's evil and this and that. And being able to put that label of wrong on someone, that negates the desire and need for diversity at that point. It's like, no, screw you, you're wrong. It's not about you being different, you're wrong. And that's a very powerful tool that people tend to give themselves when going into a situation where they're facing someone with opposing ideology. Is just like, no, 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 no. I don't care that they're gay or black or whatever. They're wrong. They believe in this. They support this person who does this, and that's wrong because. And it just it's yeah, it's a very efficient tool for negating diversity, inclusion, and all that jazz because it's easy to tolerate different. It's not so easy for people to tolerate what they perceive as someone being or doing wrong. So that's my simplistic answer to that.
I like it. Simple, clean, straightforward, and
Yeah,
true. You're not
yeah.
wrong. So here's we're slowly escalating the controversy level of these questions, and we'll see if any of them make the final cut. So what the hell? Let's throw
Yeah.
this one out there. So from your perspective, in terms of viewing the other side's antics, um, what are things that the left does, and we can go both ways in this. What are things the left does or says that truly inflame the right? That if you could give suggestions or advice or tips to the left on, hey guys, when you do this like this and you say this, that really makes my side want to grab the guns. Chill a little bit on this, or maybe don't say it like this, say it like this, and even though we disagree, it'll still land in a less inflammatory way. Do you know what I mean? So like, if you were talking to like the most polarizing left-wing activists, what advice could you give them on still advocating for what they believe in, because we have freedom of speech in this country,
Yeah.
but maybe do it slightly differently so it doesn't totally piss people off to escalate to violence?
Oh, that's a good one. Man. Um, the biggest thing that it even bothers me is when uh, and I can't say that conservatives haven't or don't do this. It's just none that I know. And myself personally, I don't do this. But when you're out in an environment and you put your own personal triggers on the community, the area around you, and you expect others to cater to that, and like that definitely is an inflammatory thing for the right. It's just like you shouldn't do that because I'm triggered. I don't like your t-shirt because that triggers me. I don't like your music in here. That triggers me. Like, okay, well then leave. Well then leave. You've come out into the world and you've made your personal things, your personal issues, everybody else's issues. And I get it. It's hard to navigate the world. It's loud, it's noisy, it's chaotic, it's problematic in so many ways. But you need to, and I won't say need because but when you come out into the world and you take those issues that you're dealing with and you throw them on everybody else, it definitely to put it politely, it inflames others of the especially the conservative persuasion into a great and vast dislike of everything about you and that you stand for. Uh, because I deal with enough stuff in my life, but I manage it enough that when I go out into the world, I'm not making it everybody else's problem. I'm not putting my expectations of life on you. I'm not putting my needs and expectations on the world around me. I need quiet. I need peace. Okay, well, then stay home. All right. I don't know who told a lot of people that life is going to be easy, but they didn't do them any services giving them that impression. And so, yeah, that would be a very big uh, point of contention there for not just the concern. I mean, that's a personal pet peeve of mine. Is I actually went to a restaurant not too long ago, and I don't know how they survived in Portland with this sign up, but they put a sign in the window that said, "Your triggers are your own. Don't bring that shit in here." And I was just like, I don't know what they serve, but I'm going in there. Because it's just no fun walking around the world and having to try and the world is hard enough to navigate without having to walk around on eggshells for others. And it's yeah, there's a whole gamut of things I could go into on that, but that's the gist of it. So,
You know what's really interesting is I feel like that's not only a left wing, right wing divide, but it's also a cultural thing. So
oh
that's a
yeah,
very Japanese cultural thing where we as Japanese people, we don't like to bother other people for our own needs. There's actually a
mm-hmm.
Japanese word for it. It's called enryo, and it means holding back. Even if you like are bothered, or even if you do want something, you're not going to place that burden on other people. And some Japanese people are so extreme with this protocol that in Hawaii, there's a lot of Japanese tourists that come to Hawaii. Japanese tourists have drowned swimming in the ocean because they didn't call out for help because they didn't want to bother other people.
See, yeah, I mean, I appreciate that. That's a little extreme. That's way up here. It could be down here. Like, don't die not being a problem for others. But yes, the mindset is right. The mindset is right. Um, and yeah, it's its own. It's a form of intrusion and selfishness to me. But I get it. Life is hard, and the world is changing, and people do things differently. But to answer your question specifically, yes, that is probably the number one complaint that I would have to put out there for that.
Right. What about the other way, right? So if you could advise people on the right, like, hey, when you guys do it like this or say things like this is an unnecessary escalation. So you can still believe this, but maybe change X, Y, and Z so that we decrease the probability of violence.
For that, oh, I mean, there's a lot on both sides, but there's a there's a fervor that comes with it that is just like it's and a lot of times this stems from the like the Christian base of conservatism, which is you know it emboldens them to think that they're right, and that belief in that their right can tend to turn into superiority. I'm better than you because I'm right, because I've got God on my side. I'm an avid Christian, devout Christian, but I don't beat on others because they aren't. That's between you and Jesus. I don't know where, I don't know what your plan is with that conversation, if you get there, but that's between you and the Lord. Like, I know my faith and I own my faith and with my ideology and the beliefs that I have and the beliefs that I hold. I'm comfortable in that. And I don't make other people feel less than because they don't agree. And so I think that was there's a lot of there's a sense of superiority, especially when I hear a lot of conservative guys talk. It's talking down about them like they're less than, like they're subhuman. They believe in this God, we just exterminate them all, and it's just like whoa. Like, that's a bit much. And yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is that there is an air of superiority with it, and I know a lot of people that would be like, yeah, there is because we are, and it's just like that right there. You gotta pump the brakes on that, and acknowledge that people aren't going to agree with you every time, and it doesn't mean that they're less than or not just as valuable in society as you. So yeah, that would be it.